Often in Excel, you want to combine different tables together, and I'm going to show you how to do this in multiple ways. For example, how to expand them horizontally by using XLOOKUP or merge queries, how to do them vertically, like stack them together. And there we're going to use VSTACK and we're going to use append queries within Power Query, and how to work with an entire folder of files. So my name is David Benham and I have tons of videos on Excel, PowerPoint, Google Sheets. If you're using Tech of the Workplace, I'm covering my channel. So check out my other stuff. If you want to follow along, there is a link to download the files that I'm using in the description. So let's start by deleting these things. We don't need them. And I'm going to combine vertically. So I'm going to use the function equals VStack, and I'm going to select these cells. I'm going to press a comma, and then I can select these. Control Shift down will select all the way up till the end. Close the brackets, and now you've combined them vertically. Now what you've created is called a dynamic array, which means that it is one formula that populates all of this data. If I was to write something in there, then it would give me the spill array. That just means, hey, you have something obstructing it. So just delete that and it should go away. There's lots of cool things that these dynamic arrays can do, and we're going to see them more and more throughout this video. So as you could see, if I press F2 to edit it, I could keep combining different arrays like this. It's not dynamic if this ends up growing unless the source is a table, using the format as table feature that I highly recommend. So I have another table with numbers where I have each person, the fruit they bought, the dates, profit units, and the city they live in. And if I go back here, I can use a function called equals XLOOKUP. And I have a lookup value, which is this. I can press comma. Lookup array is going to be back in here. I'm going to use it there, leave a couple at the end just in case I have more data to put in later on. Press F4 and then press a comma. My return array for now, I'm just going to do just the fruit column. Make sure that they start and end at the same place. Here it's 28 and 29, so that's no good. So I'm going to end at 28. Press F4 to lock that in again. And then the others are in square brackets, so they're optional. So I'm going to close my brackets and press enter, and I get mangoes. And I could drag this down, and that will give me the fruit for every person. I could also drag it up for the headers. Now, it does say NA where I can't find the person. So Linda Park is not in this list, and that's why it's giving me NA. And that is one issue that you have with this kind of XLOOKUP strategy. It's that you can't do anything differently with the non-matches. Whereas the next method I'm going to show you can choose to ignore the non-matches, can choose to exclude them, can choose to only include them, and it's more flexible that way. Now, I could have actually done this for multiple columns if I was to change the formula. Instead of B28, I write G28 like this. Then it will bring out the whole row all the way up till city, which stops at G. Now, if I drag this down, it will work over there, except here it's given me a spill error, same as before, because there's an obstructing cell that said the word text in it. If I delete that, it will give me that data. Note that it does the blue outlines again, which is essentially a dynamic array like we had before. There is another issue here, such as I have Jason Gonzalez, which is repeated, but actually this name applies to two different people. One of them lives in Courtney Haven, the other one lives in Krent Town. So if we want to get the right data for the right Jason Gonzalez, we actually have to look up based on the city and the name. And that is something that this method does not allow you to do. So we're going to look at another method to make this a little bit stronger. And this feature that I love called Power Query. Before we go into that, I just want to make sure that it is useful to be able to highlight duplicates and check when you're using XLOOKUPs, because they work differently if they have duplicates. And here it's automated. So for example, if I have Martha Lewis is here again. If I press enter, they will both appear in yellow. The way that I do that is you select data and you go to conditional formatting. First, I'm going to clear the rules. And then to add it, you go to highlight cell rules and duplicate values, and you choose duplicate in there. And here you can choose whatever color you want like that. And it will highlight them in a certain color. And it is dynamic. If this one changes to a different name, they are both no longer highlighted. Control Z to undo that. So if I take this data and I go to the data tab, I get from table arrange. This is going to launch Power Query, which is the next thing we're going to look at. It asks me where's the data for your table. I'm going to press OK. Now we're in the Power Query editor. Really awesome tool. you can do loads of things that the regular Excel can't. For example, I can go to add column and I can choose that I want to add a day of the week, name of day. There I go. And now I've got Wednesday, Monday, etc. And when I'm done, I can press close and load. So back in here, if I was to change the date to 2024, for example, press enter, I go back here, it hasn't refreshed. But if I was to right click and refresh, or go to the data tab and refresh all, then it would refresh. And now the day of the week has changed to Saturday from Thursday. So I need to get the other table in as well. So I go in here and I'm going to select it, not including these extra rows that I just made. And the better way to do it is in the home tab to first format as a table, press OK, and then go to table design and rename it. So this is going to be text data. By the way, if you're not using tables, then highly recommend them for a number of reasons. Same with Power Query, it's so great. From table arrange at that stage does not ask me to convert it to a table because there already is one. And I can rename this one for good practice. I'm going to call this numbers. Now I can use merge queries to join them together. So if I go to merge queries and merge queries as new, now I can choose what to merge it with. So I choose the other table and I click on name and click on name here so that it knows to match this to this other column. Now it tells me it matches 14 of 15 from the first table. And I press OK, and this will give me kind of like what a VLOOKUP would. At the end, if I want to expand the text data, I can press the arrows there and click OK. And now I get the name again and the other columns. Note that I could have just, the cog will bring you back. I could have just taken the address because I have the other data. That's fine too. Now I could do different kinds of merges. So if I go back here, I can go to merge queries and merge queries as new. And now I can actually switch it. So I can go to text data and choose the numbers. And this is what is pretty cool. So what I did in the beginning was all rows from the first and matching rows from the second, which is similar to what a lookup function does. I can also do these other options. One that I love doing is the left anti-join, which will, if I click on the ones, tell me the ones to exclude. So it will only bring me two. This is great for troubleshooting, which are the non-matching rows. I can edit it by clicking that, and I get other ones. The inner will return only matching rows. The full outer will return all rows from both table. The right, I don't tend to use because you can just switch in here and then it will kind of do what the right is doing. Another point to note though, is that if I do have the same one twice, it will show me twice in the other one. So if I do here a left outer, then I have 15 rows here, and I expect when I expand this that I will still have 15, but now I have 16 because I have Jason Gonzalez twice. And it's kind of duplicated the information from the text data whilst keeping the other ones as different values. So that's something to keep in mind. It works slightly different to an XLOOKUP or a VLOOKUP function. Another thing I can do if I go back to image number one is I can click the cog there, and I can actually do the lookup based on not one, but two fields. If I click on name and then control click on city, you'll see 1 and 2 there. So if I click on city with control there, it will actually now do it based on two different fields. So I press OK, and I can expand it like this, but that will do it twice because I've already got to expand it. So I'm going to cancel out of that and just do this one. And there you go. Now you can see that my second Jason Gonzalez is not taking the information because it is in a different city, Town, and that's not the one that matches. So this is kind of how Power Query merge queries works. If I close and load, it's now going to load it into multiple different worksheets. So now we're going to look at how to stack tables, which is called append in Power Query. Now I have this top blue table and the second table where there is a key difference that this is called city in the two tables, but in the middle one it's called location. And then we've got an extra column in the second table as well. The third table, we haven't made this into a table yet, but you'll note that there is a difference in order. It starts with name, then fruit, then units and city. Now, if I don't want to make this into a table, but still bring it into Power Query, there is another workaround. I can go into this name box and give it a name. So I'm going to say more data here. Again, can't have spaces. If I go into data and from table or range, that's called range, which is a named range. And that's going to bring it in, and I'm going to move it into this folder. By the way, you can just create a folder by choosing move to group and new group. Now, if I want to append queries, I'm going to do append queries and append queries as new. This is usually the way I do it. 3 or more tables, more data here. I'm going to go to append me, add just some data, add, and I'm going to move just some data to the top like that. Press OK. And remember what we said, the location and city are in different places. The second data is only in one of the tables. That's why it shows it there. And even though we had the columns in different orders in the last one, it didn't matter because with append queries, it still works, as opposed to VSTACK that doesn't. It also ignores the headers and doesn't include them twice. Now, if I want location and city to be in the same place, I just need to go to this one and rename this to city. And because of the way Power Query works, now it is showing me a city there. I do just want to show you as well that if you choose append queries inside it without doing and new, that it will just allow you to do this in the query itself. So I can do append me in this existing one. And now without doing a new query, which is what we've done before, it has shown you this. Press close and load, and this will load it. Next up, we're going to look at how to get data from a folder of files. So here I have Q1 data, Q2 data, and Q3 data. As you can see, the columns are the same. It is different that this one's in a table, the other ones are not, but that doesn't really matter. What is key for this process to work is that you do need all the sheets to be named the same, all details, all details, all details. Sheet 2 and Sheet 3, which is only in this one file for Q1, will not come in using this method. There is a more elaborate way to do this if that is the case that you're looking for. And I have another video that's much longer on how to bring in data from multiple files if you've got lots of sheet names that you want to combine. Now, this is in the YouTube public files folder, so if you want to download all of this data set, you can as well and follow along. Now, I'm going to click in here and I'm going to copy the URL. Then I'm going to go back to the main file we've been using, this one. And now I'm going to go to the data tab and I'm going to choose get data from file. And here you can have from folder. From folder will work for Excel files, CSVs, PDFs, text files, etc. So I've pasted that in there. And now I'm going to go to data from folder and I'm going to press open. Now here it does show you this kind of tilde sign next to the ones that are open. That doesn't really matter. It doesn't impact it if you use this method. I'm going to click on here and combine and transform data. So next on this screen, I'm going to click on all details because as we said, that is the same name in all of them. So after I pressed OK and waited a bit, it's loaded this. It's actually created a bunch of new stuff. It's created this head folder, subfolder with all of these things, and this one, which is the sample. You don't need to understand too much about what those are. It is using something called a function and a parameter, but that's more advanced than I'm going to go through in this video. So data from folder, this is the combined data like this. And as you can see, the source name will show you from Q3, Q2, and Q1. So it's actually the combined data from all 3 of those files, given that they have the same columns. The same rules applied as to append. If you have slightly different column names, it won't stack them. And also, if you have them in a different order, it will figure that out. So one of the changes you can make in Power Query is you can go to keep rows and keep just the top 5 rows like that. And this will just keep the Q1s because they're the top ones there. Now I'm going to exit out of this step. And let's say hypothetically, I just want to keep the first 5 rows from each file. I can actually go into the transform sample file, and then I can do keep rows and keep top rows and just choose say 4. And now it's just going to show 4 in here. But if I go to the data from folder, it's actually got 4 from each different sample. So again, if you do want to do something more elaborate than this in terms of combining things with multiple different sheet names or combining across the same file, I have another video where I go into in more detail because there are a bunch of things you can know, including how to edit and amend certain things so that it becomes more robust. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is David Benham, and I have tons of videos on Excel, PowerPoint, Google Sheets, Zoom, Teams. If you're using Tech of the Workplace, I'm covering my channel, so check out my other videos. Thanks for watching.